All right, we're going to do another PTSD buddy chat because my friend Rachel joined me. Or my buddy. I got to keep saying buddy Rachel. See you there. There she is. Oh!
I turned on the light.
You never had that light when we were talking earlier. Sly boots.
Feeling the dark side.
Yes, all of a sudden, bam! Where were you on the night of February 14th? Dun dun dun. So you're like, yeah, you're in your vehicle, obviously.
Yeah, it's the only place I'm actually alone.
Yeah.
Gives me a peace of mind.
Yeah, I know that. I have children, so I know what you're talking about, trying to find somewhere alone.
Gotta have an escape.
Yeah. Yeah. For years, my kids thought I smoked cigarettes, and I don't smoke cigarettes. I would just say, I'm going downstairs for a smoke. You gotta leave me alone. You gotta be away from the cigarettes. Right? But I don't actually I don't actually smoke. It was like my way to get 5 minutes. Yeah. Yeah.
I still use that excuse, and I quit smoking like a year ago.
Really? Whatever, it works. It works.
Whatever gets me out of the house.
Yeah, yeah. In the military is a big thing because a lot of people say, oh, I'm going for a smoke break. But if you don't smoke, you just keep working. So, you know, I've actually seen soldiers carry packs of candy in their pocket going, well, if you're going for smoke, I'm going for a juju break. And they go and eat a couple of, like, candies.
I had a friend, he was in the Marines, and he said when he was in boot camp, every Sunday they let you go out for church.
Right.
And he said he would go to every place that he could. He said, I even went to a coven. just so I didn't have to go back.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you. So, like I was telling you about my stepdad.
Yes.
And I want to ask you, since you are a military man.
Okay.
What is an emissions out?
A what?
An emissions out.
An emissions out.
Because, so my stepdad claims that he's a veteran.
Right.
I've never seen any records.
Okay.
He says that I told him, because I kind of, you know, like I said, I have part of my dad in me.
Right.
So I play mind games back.
Yep.
I told him, I said, I went to Verizon. I was able to get a veteran's discount.
Right.
And he told me, he said, what do you mean a veteran's discount? I said, yeah. I said, you were in the Navy, weren't you? And he looked at me and he was like, I never claim any veteran discounts. I said, why is that? And he told me, he said that he wasn't honorably discharged. So I asked him, I said, so does that mean you had a dishonorable discharge?
That's
and
what
he
it'd
said,
be, yeah.
no, it's called an emissions out.
An emissions out?
Yeah. An admin's out or something like that.
I don't know. Maybe it's a thing. Emissions out. I don't know. Like a voluntary release, maybe.
I know. And it, you know, there's so many stories he tells, and I can't tell if he's telling the truth. And since my mom has been with him for I think they've been together for like 5 years now. Married for like 2. The guy has had over 10 jobs.
Oh.
And every time he's laid off.
Right.
But he sits home all day, every day, and never leaves and just drinks beer.
Oh, living the dream, sounds like.
But
I'm sorry to make a joke about it.
Every day that he makes a comment about how I'm irresponsible and immature, but I looked at him.
But he's sitting there drinking beer.
It's coming.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm going to school. I'm going to school full time, and I have a part-time job just so we stay afloat.
Yep.
And today I just went to a laundromat for the first time. Because I'm so used to having a washer and dryer at home.
That could be tough, having PTSD and going to a public laundromat. How was that?
It bothered me so much. I sat there, like, my back against the wall.
Yeah.
With headphones on and looking down at my homework. Because I I couldn't be around a lot of people. But at home, I'm not allowed to wash my laundry. I
Okay.
have over 10 loads of laundry, and I'm not allowed to wash it there because every time I ask him, hey, can I use a washer? He
Yeah.
says, no, I'm doing a load. I don't see a load in there. Well, I'm about to. And he tosses a load in probably like an hour later.
He's not letting you use the washing machine?
Yeah.
What?
But
Man, that's
yeah,
just whatever, man. That guy needs a kick in the butt.
right. And it's so much drama. And I'm like, I want to move out
I
so
guess
bad.
so. Holy.
And yeah, like I'm trying to get out soon. But other than that, I'm finally going to see my therapist again, after not being able to see them for a couple months. And I mean, it's just like I'm starting over again on my treatment.
Yeah.
So,
And that sucks,
my,
man, when you feel like you're starting over again. Like, yeah, it feels like you got nowhere.
like, I'm happy I finally found a therapist that I like, that actually, we have a connection.
Right?
That I have to say that for everybody that is in PTSD buddies, if you don't like your therapist, find another one. Keep searching until you can't search no more.
Yeah,
Because
sometimes trying to find the right therapist is as hard as trying to find the right medication or the right, grounding technique.
right, I mean, I've been through within the past year, I think 4 different therapists, and like 3 different psychiatrists.
Wow.
Because I admitted myself around Labor Day weekend, and this is when I finally found the right psychiatrist. Was she she asked me because she knew I had PTSD. We talked before a long time ago,
Okay.
and the only reason I seen her was I told her I was just fine, but I needed her to sign a paper so I could get some help finding a job.
Okay.
And she asked me, she's like, "Are you sure you're okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." She's like, "You're not on any medication?" I said, "No, I don't need to be." And at this time, I made myself completely numb that I just denied the help.
Oh.
So just so she could sign a paper for me, just so I could say I was like psychologically okay.
Yeah.
And I had to say that that wasn't the best idea because I eventually had to see a psychiatrist and couldn't find the right one. And when I admitted myself in the hospital, she just so happened to be my doctor.
What?
And she looked at me, she's like, "I remember you." And I
Yeah.
said, "Yeah." I said, "You remember when I told you I didn't need help?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I need it."
Yeah. Wow.
So she was asking me like what kind of medication I was on, and I told her I was on Wellbutrin.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the worst medication anybody can be on. And if you were to ask me, they actually don't really label it as an antidepressant anymore. It's more like Chantix, where it has over 300 different side effects. And people that have PTSD is just going to make it worse. So I recommend anybody, if they got put on this medication, to get reevaluated because it can cause like long-term harm to yourself.
Okay.
And so what happened was it was making my flashbacks worse. It was making my anxiety worse, along with I started having like heart problems. And when she asked me about it, she told me about how I had so many side effects to it.
Yeah.
And she says, I'm taking you off of it. She's like, "I don't want you to being on this." And she put me on like a concoction of different things. Like I think like I take 3 different medications now, and they're low doses, but they help me.
Okay.
And I haven't had a problem
That's good.
since I yeah. But it was hard going back home because, I hate to say it, but being in the hospital, I was able to escape
Yeah.
from a lot of things. So being, between walls away from society, you become like in a comfort spot.
Yeah.
So when I got back into reality, I had my mom pressuring me to get off this medication, that I don't need to be on it. I don't have any mental illness. It's all in my head. I'm like, well, yeah, it is all in my head. So, I mean, I told her, I said, but she said, well, back when I was a kid, they didn't have these mental illnesses. Now, needless to say, when I did my research paper on PTSD, my grandpa was in World War II.
Yep.
And he was sent home. He was on the beaches of Normandy on D-Day.
Wow.
I would say he was about 17 when he signed in because he was almost 18, so they allowed him.
Yeah.
And when he came back home, he had what they called shell shock, which was a form of PTSD before they even, realized what it really was.
In World War One, they called it shell shock. In World War Two, they called it battle fatigue.
See, they told him that he had shell shock.
Yeah.
That's why research was that it was battle fatigue, but he had shell shock.
As far as I'm concerned, it's just another name for PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder.
But back then when they didn't realize what kind of treatment to do, he actually went to Canada and signed up for electroshock therapy.
Oh,
and it caused, he's had problems, before he passed away, he had a lot of heart problems and everything.
Yeah.
And he was a heavy drinker because he couldn't cope with it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that.
So I told her, I said, if you're going to tell me, PTSD doesn't exist, look at how Grandpa Don was. And she didn't really say much after that. But, I've been through a lot of traumatic situations, but sometimes people don't realize how serious it is until, it's serious to me. It's something that my mind can't get over.
Yeah.
Just because someone else doesn't understand doesn't mean that there never will be someone that understands you.
That's true.
And that's what I love about this group, because, meeting people that do understand where I'm coming from and know how I suffer from this, it's nice. It's nice to have someone that understands you.
Yeah, that's why we started this group, because I always found nothing worked better for me than talking to somebody who actually understands, who's not just saying they understand,
Right. And, I have to say, it was hard because when I got into my accident, the guy died. And what happened was I was coming home from work, and the guy was swerving between the lines. And I guess he was on cocaine and he was drunk.
Ow.
So on the road, he was swerving between the two lanes on my side. The only way I could get over was passing him from the left because there was no shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried getting over, and someone passed me, laid on their horn, and scaring him, where he pushed his handbrakes, and in a second he was already gone, he was already over my head. And at that moment, that's when my life changed.
Yeah.
And I hate it when people, after it happened, my worst comments were, everything happens for a reason. What reason? What reason would this been? And it was really hard until I went to my uncle and he helped me get a lawyer, because of course, the prosecutor's never your friend. He's gonna try to, figure something out as of who, you're guilty until I can prove you not.
Yeah.
So he helped me get a lawyer and he paid for it. Well, he had a guy come in, and I didn't realize it, but he was a family friend for years, and he walked into the office and he sat down next to me. He said, Rachel, he said, I've been exactly where you are. And he told me about how he had a homeless guy. Yeah. And he said, you will live with us for the rest of your life, but please do understand that there is ways to get past it. There are ways that you can get help.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just nice that one moment that someone actually understood and not just tried to understand,
Yeah.
but someone actually had been there and he was telling me everything's going to be okay. So I believed him. I trusted him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, needless to say, I was in the hospital 5 times a year for suicidal attempts, but it was just, I wasn't, how they said I wasn't on the right medication. And so, as for people I see, posts on PTSD buddies about people, not being able to cope with it or having problems with the treatment, just keep fighting. That's what I have to say. Just keep fighting. Find a therapist that's going to help you be on the right medication, do the, right techniques. Like I do meditation. I've had, a guy someone told me about the ice cube trick.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I've talking to other people is nice to, because I have to say, I used to cut myself just to get myself back to reality, away from those thoughts.
Yep.
And what sucked was one night my girlfriend got pulled over by a cop. Well, because of the lights in the car, it threw me into a flashback.
Wow.
And as a safety protocol, they have to keep the lights on. But it was nice that he went back and he turned them off. And he talked me through it.
Well, cool. Yeah. I guess police officers are getting more training in that area now, eh?
Right.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah, I know us in the military, we're getting a lot more training on it. And I have to admit, here in St. John's, where I work, the military has really backed me. My commanding officer has really got behind me with PTSD buddies. And he allows me to work on PTSD buddies sometimes during work hours. So, yeah, the military's been really supportive lately with my PTSD.
And it's hard, but there's a lot of people that have it and never seek treatment yet, and I'm hoping that one day they will.
Some people don't even realize they have it.
Honestly, I didn't think I had it either. Because at first, when I started having the flashbacks, they were in my dreams.
Yep.
So I would have people waking me up all hours of the night. What's wrong? Why were you screaming? Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I think a lot of people think PTSD is this really crazy thing, and if people have it, they could be dangerous and violent, and that's just not it. I mean, it's PTSD for me is anyway. PTSD is a person lived through something traumatic and it has changed them, and it could be just a small change, but like I've said this many times on stage, if a person first gets their driver's license, a young man, a teenage boy gets his driver's license, a lot of times he'll jump in that car and drive really fast all around town, so excited he got his driver's license. And then he gets into a bad car accident. And in that moment right there, he's not a fast driver anymore, And, he doesn't have anger issues or things like that, but he's now a slow driver, or maybe he doesn't even want to drive at all now, But what I'm trying to say, it changed him, And a lot of people, when they see PTSD or hear PTSD, they automatically think a police officer or a soldier or child abuse, and now that person is really screwed up and can't go outside and is angry all the time. And no, it doesn't have to be that big of a thing, right? PTSD does come in different levels. You said earlier, you talked about CPSD. I had to say
I know.
I had to say that slow, man. Right? But that just shows there's different levels, right? I mean, there's severe PTSD, there's moderate PTSD, right?
Right.
And now you have the complex PTSD, and I'm sure there's more that I'm missing, right? Lots more, but there's just different levels.
I know my favorite saying was, God only gives you what you can handle, but obviously God thinks I'm a badass.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah. And you can't tell me there's not a lot of us out there. I just looked at the numbers today. We are very close to hitting 3,000 members.
Right on.
Yeah. And it grows. I mean, we got 50 new members just this weekend.
I'm hoping I can get my girlfriend in the group too.
I hope so too.
Because this is what's crazy, but she's had grand mal seizures due to her PTSD.
Oh, wow.
And just with her, and she said there's times that she would have seizures but not realize that it was causing, like, it was caused from it.
Yeah.
Until the doctor, she did a long-term monitoring on her, and she said it's funny, when you were having symptoms of seizures, nothing was showing up in the scans. And she asked her if she's been through, like, traumatic situations, because what happened was her brother set her on fire. He beat her up.
Holy jeez.
Shot her with a BB gun, like, numerous times.
Who is this guy? Oh my God, that's crazy.
So, like, right now they're hanging out.
What? They're hanging out?
She tries for her mom, but I'm like, needless to say, something happens, we're going home. And I can't stand it because he makes comments about, oh, you have PTSD. Oh, you're going back to Nam days, aren't you? Like,
man, I'd have PTSD living this person too.
Right.
My gosh, shooting with a BB gun.
And it's hard. And there's been times, like, her mom is just, I know she has some kind of bipolar disorder.
Right.
And I'm not trying to, diagnose her or anything, but she'll be fine one moment and then she would just snap on you. And she'll be in your face, screaming at you, hitting you. And the times that Kaylee would get the backlash, she would go into a seizure right then and there.
Holy.
But it was never diagnosed with epilepsy. It was strictly just, she said it was traumatic situations. She says you don't think it's weird that every time she would have one, it was because she had to fight with her mom or her brother was around. Man,
that's quite the pile there. That's quite the bowl of soup.
Right. Like, luckily, she's been, knock on wood, she's been a year and a half seizure free, and we're actually going for a road test tomorrow.
Okay.
So, fingers crossed, because I told her after this I'm done teaching people how to drive.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Hard on the anxiety, eh?
God.
Yeah. Do a live video during the next drive. I'm just joking.
Driver, but, like that one time she got pulled over a cop because she thinks she could beat a red light.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And I'm sitting there like... And there's times that she'll just slam on the brake. I'm like, can you meet me somewhere in the middle? Like,
yeah.
Just an easy stop. No.
Well, you'll never fall asleep in the car anyway, I guess. It'll keep you awake. Huh? You'll never fall asleep in the car anyway, You'll always be awake.
There's been times I fell asleep and I'll wake back up and I was awake. Like, what the heck just happened?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, she's a good driver. There's just so few surprises. And I'm like, please tell me that, like, you were not going to do this when you get your license. So.
Yeah. So where are you headed? Are you home now in the car here? Or are you heading somewhere?
I'm at my girlfriend's grandma. I'm at her house.
Oh.
In my way. Because we don't want to go home.
Okay. So you're going in to visit now?
Yeah.
Okay. Right on. Well, thanks for having a chat with me.
Oh, thank you.
And let's have a chat again soon, because I want to know how the driving goes.
Okay, I will.
All right.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, take care now.
All right, bye.
Bye. You didn't think we're going to have another chat, did you? Haha. Like I said, if anyone wants to have a chat with me, they just got to send me a message, and we'll do a chat whenever I'm free and you're free. Right? So, yeah, send me a private message and we'll hook up and set up a date. All right? Cheers. And thanks a lot, Rachel, for having a chat with me. Night, everybody.